The message arrived on a Tuesday, transmitted simultaneously to every major communication hub on Earth. It came not as a greeting or an invitation, but as an imperial decree from the depths of space. Admiral Isabella Martinez stood on the bridge of the UES Hyperion, humanity's most advanced warship, as the transmission played across the quantum displays. To the developing species of Sol 3, the message began, its translation crisp and cold. The Starborn Collective has determined your civilization has achieved sufficient technological advancement to warrant integration. You will surrender your autonomy and submit to collective guidance. Resistance will result in immediate pacification. Martinez's fingers tightened on the command rail, her knuckles white against the polished metal. 20 years of military service had prepared her for many things, but this was different. The Starborn Collective wasn't just some alien civilization. They were the self-proclaimed masters of the Orion Arm, a species so advanced they treated solar systems like chess pieces. Commander Patel, she called to her tactical officer. Analysis of their transmission source. Raj Patel's hands flew across his console, his dark eyes reflecting the cascade of data. They're broadcasting from what appears to be a mass relay station at the edge of the Kuiper Belt, Admiral. The energy signature is massive. Nothing like we've ever seen. The following hours unfolded like a carefully choreographed dance of crisis. The United Earth Council convened an emergency session. Military commands worldwide went to high alert, and deep space monitoring stations tracked the movements of unknown vessels appearing at the edges of their sensor range. Martinez received her orders directly from Fleet Command. Prepare the Hyperion and its battle group for immediate deployment. The ship itself was humanity's ace, a vessel whose very design defied conventional physics. Its quantum-locked hull could absorb and redirect energy. Its AI combat systems could process battlefield data faster than human thought. And its weapons. Well, the Starborn were about to learn about those firsthand. All hands, battle stations. Martinez's voice echoed through the ship's corridors. This is not a drill. The Earth faces its greatest challenge, and we will answer it. The Hyperion's crew moved with practiced precision. Lieutenant Commander James O'Neill, the ship's chief engineer, began the power-up sequence for the quantum core. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, head of the AI Warfare Division, initiated the neural synchronization of the ship's combat systems. Admiral, Patel called out, his voice tense. We're detecting multiple vessels entering the inner solar system. Their energy signatures match the broadcast source. Martinez nodded, watching as the tactical display filled with red markers. The Starborn weren't waiting for Earth's response. They were making a show of force, demonstrating their supposed superiority. Open a channel to Fleet Command, she ordered. Tell them the Hyperion battle group is ready for deployment, and get me a direct link to all ship commanders. As the communications officer worked, Martinez studied the approaching Starborn vessels. Their designs were organic, almost crystalline, with surfaces that seemed to ripple like liquid metal. Beautiful in their way, but Martinez saw past the aesthetic to the arrogance it represented. These beings thought they could simply demand Earth's submission, as if humanity would roll over and accept servitude. The faces of 24 ship commanders appeared on her display, each commanding a vessel that represented the pinnacle of human military engineering. The Hyperion might be the flagship, but every ship in the battle group carried technologies that had been theoretical just a decade ago. Commanders, Martinez began, her voice steady. The Starborn Collective expects us to surrender our planet, our sovereignty, our future. They believe we'll bow to their superior technology and accept their dominion. They're wrong. She paused, letting her words sink in. Humanity has faced extinction-level threats before. We've survived ice ages, plagues, and our own destructive tendencies. Each time, we've emerged stronger. Today, we face an alien force that sees us as nothing more than pets to be collared. They don't understand what they're dealing with. The tactical display updated, showing the Starborn fleet spreading out in a classic containment formation. They were moving to surround Earth's orbital defenses, probably expecting minimal resistance. Battle Group, form up on the Hyperion, Martinez ordered. Combat AI systems to full autonomous support, quantum shields at maximum capacity. We're going to show the Starborn Collective exactly what humanity is capable of. The bridge crew worked their stations with focused intensity as the massive ship moved into position. Around them, the rest of the battle group fell into formation, a perfect geometric pattern that would have been impossible without their advanced AI coordination systems. Admiral, Paddle reported, the Starborn fleet is broadcasting again. They're demanding our immediate surrender and compliance. Martinez smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Send them our response. The Earth belongs to humanity. If they want it, they'll have to take it from us. As the message was transmitted, Martinez gave the order that would change the course of human history. All ships, battle stations, show them what we can do. The Hyperion's quantum core hummed to life, its revolutionary shield system creating a visible distortion in space around the ship. Throughout the battle group, weapon systems powered up, targeting computers locked on, and humanity prepared to defend its freedom against an enemy that had gravely underestimated their resolve. The final confrontation between humanity and the Starborn Collective was about to begin, and Admiral Isabella Martinez intended to make sure it was a battle they would never forget. The first shots of the battle weren't fired with conventional weapons. They came in waves of quantum interference, invisible ripples that disrupted the very fabric of space-time. The Starborn fleet's organic crystalline ships suddenly found their communications garbled, their sensor networks clouded with false readings. Neural disruption field at maximum effectiveness. Dr. Tanaka reported from her station, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. Their bioquantum matrices are experiencing cascading failures exactly as predicted. Admiral Martinez watched as the enemy fleet's perfect formation began to waver. The Starborn's technological superiority had made them complacent. They'd never encountered a species that could challenge their fundamental understanding of physics. Multiple Starborn vessels attempting to compensate, Commander Patil announced. They're adapting faster than expected, Admiral. Then we don't give them time to adapt. Execute Operation Sunbreak. Martinez's order set off a chain of synchronized actions across the battle group. The human fleet split into predetermined attack formations, each ship's AI working in perfect harmony with its crew. The Hyperion's quantum core pulsed, sending waves of energy through its specialized hull. Lieutenant Commander O'Neill's voice came through the bridge speakers. Quantum manifold stable. Admiral, ready for phase shift on your mark. The Starborn fleet had regained some of their coordination, their ships beginning to emit strange, shifting fields that seemed to bend light itself. Their first offensive was beautiful and terrifying. Streams of plasma that twisted through space like living things, seeking human targets with predatory intelligence. Phase shift. Now, Martinez's command activated the Hyperion's most closely guarded secret. The massive warship seemed to flicker, its hull becoming temporarily out of sync with normal spacetime. The Starborn's plasma weapons passed harmlessly through where the ship had been, finding nothing but empty void. The rest of the human fleet executed their own defensive maneuvers, their quantum shields refracting and dispersing the energy attacks and displays that lit up space like artificial auroras. This wasn't just a battle. It was humanity's declaration that they would not be outdone in the field of scientific advancement. Launch Quantum Swarm, Martinez ordered. From the Hyperion and its escort ships, thousands of small, autonomous drones emerged. Each was powered by a miniaturized quantum core, making them nearly impossible to track or predict. The Starborn's organic ships suddenly found themselves surrounded by clouds of intelligent machines that could phase in and out of normal space at will. The alien fleet's response was immediate and devastating. Their ships began to merge and transform, crystalline structures flowing like liquid metal to create larger, more powerful configurations. Energy beams of impossible intensity lashed out, swatting dozens of drones from space. They're adapting to the swarm tactics, Patel warned. Energy signatures indicate they're preparing something big. Martinez nodded grimly. Just as we predicted. Commander Patel, signal the Artemis and the Helios. Execute Protocol Prometheus. 2 ships from the human fleet broke formation, their engines flaring bright as miniature suns. The Starborn apparently recognized the threat, directing a massive portion of their firepower toward the advancing vessels. But these ships had been designed for exactly this moment. The Artemis and Helios absorbed the incoming fire through their specialized hull plating, their quantum cores processing and converting the enemy's own energy. When they reached their designated positions, both ships activated their primary weapons, devices that created controlled tears in spacetime itself. The effect was devastating. Several starborn vessels were caught in the localized gravity distortions, their organic hulls unable to maintain cohesion under the extreme forces. Others found their advanced weapons suddenly turning against them, their energy attacks reflected back by the quantum anomalies. "Admiral," Dr. Tanaka called out, her voice tight with excitement, "we're detecting significant disruptions in their fleet's neural network. The quantum tears are affecting their ability to coordinate." But the Starborn weren't finished. Their remaining ships began to emit strange, pulsing signals that seemed to stabilize the local space-time geometry. Their adaptation was impressive, but it was costing them time and resources. "They're learning," Martinez observed, "but so are we. Signal all ships. Execute attack pattern Delta 7. Let's show them what happens when you corner humanity." The human fleet moved as one, their formation shifting with fluid grace. Each ship's AI system was processing combat data in real time, learning and adapting to the Starborn's tactics even as they deployed them. The Hyperion led the charge, its quantum shields now calibrated to the exact frequency of the enemy's weapons. "Multiple Starborn vessels attempting emergency phase shift," Paddle reported. "They're trying to disengage." Martinez allowed herself a small smile. "Not today. Deploy quantum anchors. Keep them here." The battle had become more than just a clash of technologies. It was a contest of will and adaptation. The Starborn had expected to find a primitive species easy to subjugate. Instead, they found themselves locked in combat with an opponent who had turned their own tactical advantages against them. As the quantum anchors activated, creating localized fields that prevented FTL escape, Martinez watched the tactical display with fierce pride. Her fleet wasn't just holding its own against a supposedly superior force. They were winning. Every prediction, every calculation, every strategic innovation humanity had developed was proving its worth. The Starborn's neat, ordered formations had dissolved into chaos, their ships fighting individually now that their neural network was compromised. They were still dangerous, perhaps even more so in their desperation, but they had lost the aura of invincibility that had marked their arrival. "All ships," Martinez broadcast across the fleet, "prepare for final engagement. Show them exactly what humanity is capable of when pushed too far." The battle for Earth's freedom was far from over, but humanity had made its point. The Starborn Collective was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating a species that had spent its entire history overcoming impossible odds. The battle had reached its 3rd hour when the Starborn revealed their true capabilities. A massive portal torn through space itself appeared at the edge of the combat zone, and through it emerged their primary battle station, a structure that dwarfed even the largest ships in either fleet. "Energy readings off the scale," Paddle reported, his voice steady despite the implications. "That station is generating more power than our entire fleet combined." The battle station was a marvel of alien engineering, a massive crystalline structure that seemed to pulse with internal light, its surface constantly shifting and reforming. Tendrils of energy reached out from it, connecting to the remaining Starborn vessels, appearing to repair and enhance them. "They've been holding back," Martinez realized. Dr. Tanaka. Analysis. The AI warfare specialist was already deep in her calculations. The station appears to be a nexus point for their neural network. It's not just repairing their ships, it's upgrading them, incorporating everything they've learned about our tactics. Martinez watched as the starborn fleet began to move with renewed coordination, their ships now exhibiting capabilities they hadn't shown before. Energy weapons that could pierce quantum shields, gravity distortions that could trap ships in temporal loops, defensive systems that adapted in real time to any attack. Admiral, O'Neill's voice came through from engineering. The quantum core is showing unusual readings. Something about that station is affecting local space-time stability. Martinez made her decision. Initialize the Athena protocol. A hush fell over the bridge. Athena was their ultimate contingency, an experimental AI system designed to coordinate not just individual ships, but the entire fleet as a single organism. It had never been tested in actual combat. Athena initialization confirmed, Dr. Tanaka announced. Neural links established across all vessels. The system is learning, adapting. It's beautiful. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The human fleet began moving with impossible precision, each ship anticipating not just enemy actions, but the actions of their allies. The Hyperion's quantum core pulsed in sync with every other vessel, creating a complex web of overlapping fields that strengthened their collective defenses. Multiple starborn vessels attempting to breach our formation, Paddle reported. They're targeting our quantum anchor points. Let them come, Martinez replied. Athena, execute battle plan Omega. The AI responded with inhuman speed. The human fleet split into smaller task forces, each moving in patterns that seemed chaotic, but were precisely calculated. Energy weapons fired in synchronized bursts, creating interference patterns that overwhelmed the starborn's adaptive shields. The battle station responded by launching what appeared to be automated drones, thousands of them, each carrying a miniaturized version of their reality-warping technology. But Athena was ready. The human fleet's own quantum swarms engaged them in a dance of impossible complexity, their movements guided by calculations no human mind could follow. Station is attempting to establish a direct neural link with our systems, Dr. Tanaka warned. They're trying to hack Athena. Let them try, Martinez said with grim satisfaction. Activate the quantum firewall. What the Starborn didn't know was that Athena wasn't just a combat AI. It was a trap. As their neural tendrils reached out to corrupt Earth's defense systems, they instead found themselves entangled in a quantum maze of humanity's making. Neural intrusion detected and contained, Dr. Tanaka reported with a fierce grin. Athena is turning their own network against them. We're gaining access to their tactical databases. The battle station's perfect crystalline surface began to show cracks as its control over the starborn fleet wavered. Individual ships started acting erratically, their coordinated attacks dissolving into chaos. Now, Martinez ordered, all ships, execute Protocol Prometheus Prime. The entire human fleet activated their quantum cores simultaneously, creating a cascading resonance that vibrated through the fabric of space itself. The Starborn's technology, based on precise manipulation of reality, found itself trying to operate in an environment where the fundamental laws of physics were being actively distorted. Their station is losing structural integrity, Patil announced. The reality distortions are preventing their self-repair systems from functioning. Martinez watched as the massive alien structure began to break apart, its crystalline surface shattering like glass. But even in its death throes, it was dangerous. Energy beams lashed out randomly. Temporal distortions warped space around it, and waves of quantum interference threatened to overwhelm their shields. Athena, calculate optimal strike point, Martinez commanded. All ships prepare to fire on my mark. The AI's response was instantaneous, highlighting a specific point on the station where its power systems intersected. Every ship in the human fleet adjusted its position slightly, their weapons charging in perfect synchronization. Target locked, Patil confirmed. All ships report ready. Martinez took a deep breath. This was the moment that would decide everything. Fire. The combined firepower of humanity's fleet, guided by Athena's precise calculations, struck the starborne battle station at exactly the right point and time. The structure's crystalline surface couldn't adapt fast enough to the concentrated assault. Cracks spread across its surface like lightning, each one leaking streams of quantum energy. And then, in a final display of defiance, the station attempted to initiate some kind of emergency protocol. But it was too late. The damage was too severe, its neural network too compromised by Athena's intrusion. The destruction of the starborne battle station was like watching a star die in miniature. It collapsed in on itself, its reality-warping technology turning inward, creating a spectacular implosion that sent waves of quantum energy rippling through space. As the light faded and the sensors cleared, Martinez surveyed the battlefield. The remaining starborne ships were in disarray, their neural network shattered, their technological advantage nullified by humanity's determination and innovation. "Send to all enemy vessels," Martinez ordered. "Your station is destroyed. Your fleet is in chaos. Surrender now, or face the same fate." The response would determine whether this was truly the end of the battle, or just the beginning of a larger war. Either way, humanity had proven itself more than capable of standing against the galaxy's self-proclaimed masters. The surrender didn't come. Instead, what emerged from the quantum static was a direct transmission from the Starborn Collective's leadership. The holographic projection that materialized on the Hyperion's bridge showed a being that defied conventional description, a shifting mass of crystalline structures arranged in roughly humanoid form. "You have committed an unforgivable transgression," the being's thoughts translated directly into words. "No species has ever dared to destroy a Nexus station. The Collective will not forget this." Martinez stood from her command chair, facing the projection. "We didn't start this fight. You came to our system demanding submission. What did you expect?" "We expected proper respect from a primitive species," the being replied, its form flickering with what might have been anger. "Instead, we find this: technologies that should be beyond your comprehension, weapons that rival our own. You have hidden your true capabilities from us." "Hidden?" Martinez allowed herself a cold smile. "No. We developed them because we knew someday we'd meet species like you. Humanity has spent its entire history preparing for this moment." The tactical display showed massive quantum disturbances forming at the edges of the solar system. More starborne ships were arriving, hundreds of them, including vessels that dwarfed their previous forces. "Admiral," Dr. Tanaka reported, "Athena is detecting unique signatures from the new arrivals. These appear to be their actual warships. What we fought before, they were just scouts." The starborn leader's form pulsed with what might have been satisfaction. "You have forced us to commit our true fleet. Your resistance ends now." Martinez turned to her crew. "Battle stations. Athena, initiate Strategic Protocol Ultimate." "Admiral." O'Neill's voice came through, tense but excited. "The quantum core is ready. All ships report synchronized and prepared for full manifestation." The starborn leader's form flickered. "What are you?" "You thought you saw our true capabilities," Martinez interrupted. "You haven't seen anything yet. Humanity doesn't just adapt. We evolve." At her command, the human fleet began to change. The quantum cores of each ship pulsed in perfect harmony, creating a cascading effect that rippled through space. The Hyperion's hull began to glow with internal light, patterns of energy flowing across its surface like liquid starlight. "Quantum manifestation at 100%, Dr. Tanaka announced. Athena has full integration across all vessels." What happened next defied the Starborn's understanding of reality itself. The human fleet, guided by Athena's vast intelligence, began to merge their quantum fields. Ships moved in impossible patterns, their energy signatures combining and amplifying until they became something entirely new. The Hyperion transformed into the heart of what appeared to be a vast, artificial constellation, a network of ships connected by streams of pure quantum energy. Each vessel maintained its individual form but contributed to a greater whole, a manifestation of humanity's ultimate defense technology. Impossible. The starborn leader's projection flickered violently. This level of quantum manipulation, it should destroy you. Should it? Martinez's voice was steady. Your greatest weakness is your assumption that you understand the limits of what's possible. Humanity has spent millennia pushing beyond those limits. The new starborn fleet launched their attack, weapons of unimaginable power tearing through space. But the human fleet, in its transformed state, simply absorbed the energy, redirected it, used it to strengthen their own defenses. Athena, Martinez commanded, show them what happens when they threaten Earth. The AI responded with precision that bordered on artistry. The quantum network pulsed, and suddenly space itself seemed to fold around the starborn fleet. Their most powerful weapons found themselves firing into void, their advanced shields confronted with attacks from angles that shouldn't exist. Their fleet is attempting to regroup, Paddle reported. They're trying to form their own neural network to counter Athena. Too late, Dr. Tanaka smiled. Athena has already mapped their entire command structure. We know exactly how they think, how they fight. Every adaptation they make, we've already predicted and countered. The battle that followed was unlike anything in human history. The starborn's superior numbers meant nothing against a force that could manipulate the fundamental forces of reality itself. Their advanced technology, developed over millennia, found itself outmaneuvered by human innovation and desperation. Ship after ship fell to the combined might of Earth's fleet, their crystalline forms shattering under weapons they couldn't understand or predict. The starborn leader's projection watched in what appeared to be growing horror as their invincible armada was systematically dismantled. You could have been our greatest achievement, the leader said finally, a species worthy of elevation within the collective. Instead, you choose destruction. Martinez shook her head. No, we choose freedom. We choose to determine our own path, and we choose to send you a message. Earth is not your conquest. Humanity is not your subject. We are your equals, whether you like it or not. The quantum network pulsed one final time, focusing its entire power on the remaining starborn fleet. The result was both beautiful and terrifying. A cascade of reality-warping energy that left nothing but scattered particles where mighty warships had been moments before. As the quantum static cleared, the starborn leader's projection remained, its crystalline form now showing signs of what might have been fear. What are you? Martinez's response was simple. We are human. Remember that the next time you think about demanding anything from Earth. The projection disappeared, and with it, the remaining starborn ships began to retreat, leaving behind the wreckage of their defeat and a message that would echo across the galaxy. Humanity was not to be underestimated. But as the celebration began on the Hyperion's bridge, Martinez knew this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of humanity's emergence onto the galactic stage. And they had made quite an entrance. 3 days after the battle, the Hyperion's quantum sensors detected a new signal. Unlike the aggressive pulses of starborn technology, this was different. A harmonious resonance that seemed to ripple through subspace itself. Multiple signatures approaching, Patil announced, his hands moving across the tactical display. But these aren't starborn vessels. Martinez watched as new ships emerged from quantum space, designs unlike anything they'd encountered before. Elegant vessels that seemed to be made of living light, others that appeared as geometric patterns folded through dimensions humans could barely perceive. We're receiving a transmission, Dr. Tanaka reported. Multiple sources, all synchronized. Athena confirms they're representatives from other galactic civilizations. The holographic projections that appeared on the bridge showed a diverse array of beings, some humanoid, others completely alien, all watching Earth's defenders with what appeared to be keen interest. "We have observed your conflict with the Starborn Collective," spoke one being, its form shifting like aurora borealis. "For 10,000 years, they have claimed dominion over this sector of space. None dared to challenge them. Until now. We did what we had to do," Martins replied simply. "We defended our home." "You did more than that," another entity interjected, its crystalline form notably different from the Starborn's rigid structures. "You proved that technological advancement alone does not determine a species' worth. The Collective's arrogance has long been a burden on galactic civilization." The Hyperion's quantum core hummed softly as ATGENA processed the implications of this meeting. Humanity hadn't just defeated an invading force, they had unconsciously sparked a revolution in galactic politics. "The balance of power has shifted," continued the first being. "The Collective's claim of technological supremacy has been broken. Many worlds that suffered under their guidance now look to Earth with hope." Martinez felt the weight of this moment. "That wasn't our intention. We simply wanted to protect our independence. And in doing so, you have demonstrated something remarkable." A new voice joined in, belonging to a being that seemed to exist partially in another dimension. "Your species possesses not just technological innovation, but something far more valuable: the ability to unite in the face of overwhelming odds, to adapt and evolve beyond perceived limitations. We are here," the Aurora-like being announced, "to propose a new alliance, not one based on domination or technological superiority, but on mutual respect and shared progress." The tactical display suddenly lit up with new signatures, thousands of ships emerging from quantum space around the solar system. But these weren't battle formations, they were diplomatic envoys, scientific vessels, cultural exchanges, all coming to witness this historic moment. "Admiral," Dr. Tanaka whispered, "ATGENA is detecting quantum signatures unlike anything we've seen. Each of these species has developed their own unique path to advanced technology. The potential for knowledge exchange." Martinez nodded, understanding the implications. Humanity had earned its place among the stars not through submission or conquest, but by standing firm in their beliefs and demonstrating their worth. "What of the Starborn?" she asked. "They won't accept this change quietly." "The Collective retreats to their core systems," one of the entities replied. "Their influence wanes. They must now face something they have never experienced: the need to evolve or become obsolete." O'Neill's voice came through from engineering, excitement barely contained. "Admiral, these civilizations, their quantum technology approaches problems from completely different angles than ours. The possibilities for advancement are astronomical. The age of starborn dominion is ending, the aurora being declared. A new era begins, one where diversity of thought and approach is celebrated, not suppressed. Earth has shown us that true advancement comes not from age or established power, but from determination, innovation, and the courage to stand against tyranny." Martinez looked at her crew, humans who had faced down an allegedly superior force and emerged victorious. Then she looked at the assembled alien representatives, beings who had watched humanity prove that technological advancement without wisdom was meaningless. "On behalf of Earth," she said finally, "we accept your proposal for alliance. But we have one condition." The alien representatives waited expectantly. "This alliance must be built on equality. No species claims dominion over another. We advance together, or not at all." The response was immediate, a chorus of agreement that seemed to resonate through quantum space itself. In that moment, Martinez realized that humanity had achieved something far greater than military victory. They had catalyzed a fundamental change in galactic society. As the diplomatic proceedings began in earnest, Martinez returned to her command chair, watching Earth's horizon curve below them. The Hyperion's quantum core pulsed quietly, ATGENA processing the vast amounts of new information being shared. Humanity had entered the galactic stage, not as subjects or conquerors, but as equals. The stars above no longer represented distant, unreachable points of light, but new frontiers of cooperation and discovery. The Starborn had demanded humanity's submission, expecting to find a primitive species easy to dominate. Instead, they had inadvertently introduced the galaxy to its newest defenders, a species whose greatest strength lay not in their technology, but in their indomitable spirit and unwavering determination to forge their own path among the stars. As ships from a dozen different civilizations moved into formation around the Hyperion, their quantum signatures harmonizing in a display of unity, Martinez allowed herself a small smile. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: humanity's journey among the stars was just beginning, and it promised to be more extraordinary than anyone could have imagined. The end.